Hello, this is the video description of Team 1's Phase 3 project in CS 4400. So, to begin with, I'm going to run the code to show that all of the procedures, the create procedure statements, compile correctly. Excuse me as I highlight everything. This might take just a small second. And then I run that, and as you can see below, all of the view statements and create procedure statements did compile correctly. That is just a small prerequisite. Now I will begin describing the scenario. So, to begin with, as the scenario described, the 4th of July was a busy day, and so we needed to compensate by hiring a good amount of new employees. And so you said we hired 2 new warehouse workers, 3 new contractors. All of them are packers, so we had to register the packers, and we hired 1 employee that oversees them all. And so I will begin to describe this over here. So as you can see, and I missed this, but we witnessed multiple customer signups, and from the data that we gained, there was 5 new customer signups. And so I will run these really quickly just to show that they work, and then I will describe how they affect the table. Again, all of the add customers, they work, and realistically this only affects the customer table. As you can see, we have, you can go back and look, like M. Miller, R. Parker, J. Jackson, and so forth, and you see J. Jackson 14, M. Miller, and R. Parker. And so you see that what these calls do is add more entries into the customer table. Moving on, we also added 2 warehouse workers, which again I will run, and you'll see that they compile and work. And so all that this does is adds entries into the warehouse worker table. And if I can go back and show you, it is 135792468, which you see right there. And then you also see 246801357, which is right there. So you see that just added 2 entries to the warehouse worker table. And then here you have to add 3 contractors, all associated with Lightning Logistics. And so just to make sure that they compile, which they all do. And then you can go to the contractor table, and you see that there's 3 new Lightning Logistics, and they are A. Brown, J. Williams, and K. Miller, which you can see right there. A. Brown, J. Williams, K. Miller. So that is actually very good. And so now we move on to the overarching, or actually, before we register the overseer employee, we're going to register all of these 5 new, 3 contractors and 2 warehouse workers as packers. And so they all compile, and all these do is adds 5 new entries to the packers. And once you just look at the data, it's 16, 17, 13, or 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And you look down here, and so it adds these 5 new packers to the packer table. And then moving on past that, we add the new employee, and all this does is add 1 more employee to the employee table, which I can show you after I run this call, which the add employee call, as you can see down there, works. And so again, you can click on the employee table and you see that we're looking for a J Smith 23. And if you look down or look up, you will see J Smith 23 as this entry right here. And that is what that procedure call does to the system. And so here's a very interesting, is now we're updating a route, cross-west to cross-west new. However, the method for doing this is we delete the pre-existing route, and then we create the new route, and we proceed to extend the route by, we start with the first leg and then we extend it with each individual leg afterwards. And I will honestly, so I'm going to look at the routes table right now to see what it looks like before, and you see that there is cross west. And after we run this call right here, it compiles, and you look back at the route table, and I might need to refresh. So cross west is not there anymore. And so now I'm going to compile these three because they're essentially all going and contributing to creating the new cross-west new route. So once I do this, all three compile, and I'm gonna refresh by just reopening the route table, and you will see cross-west new. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go to route leg, and you'll see if I organize, cross-west new is 13, then 18, then 10, which is exactly what we wanted, 13, then 18, then 10. So that's basically what that did. And then if you keep on going, well, it's only logical to assume that there were trucks that were assigned the cross-west route. However, we updated the cross-west route to the cross-west new route, so all of the trucks that were previously assigned to cross-west have to be changed to cross-west new, which I will now show you. So if you look at the truck tab, or the truck table, you can see that there are still certain trucks with cross-west, but cross-west is no longer a route. So this is what this call for the procedure does, and it compiles. And now if you were to refresh this truck table, you see that all the trucks that were for cross-west route, like here and here, are now for cross-west new route. Again, okay, so now we are the company, because there's a lot of orders and a lot of packers coming in, we have to up our fleet of drivers. And so the company decided to hire 4 drivers. And so let's run this. And if you look at the driver table, you see that it added 4 new drivers to the table, and you can look based on the tax IDs. There's four new ones, and additionally you can see them in here. You have 5678, 987, 65, and then there you go. So coming off of that, we have to add a new truck, which, I mean, is just one more to the fleet. And if you want to look at the truck tab beforehand, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 entries. And after you add the truck, which does compile, there are now 9 entries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it just adds a single truck to the truck table. However, the intern did not really know what he was doing, so we have to fire one of the drivers under the tax ID 567890123. And so once we run this, which it does compile, we go back to the drivers tab. Sadly, we have to see that 56780 or 890123 is no longer there. He's no longer on the fleet. So moving on, I mean, there are a bunch of orders being put in, and we have to add all the packages to our system corresponding to all the orders. And so, I mean, we add 5 more packages to the package table, which they all compile, and we go to the packages table, and we see here that there are 5 new packages, and you can look at the descriptions if you really need to, but glow-in-the-dark toothpaste, unicorn-shaped pinata, which is unicorn. Whoa. It's here. It's just very hard to see everything. Glow-in-the-dark toothpaste, unicorn-shaped. And then, of course, it's just, you can go ahead and check, but what these 5 calls do is just add 5 packages to the package table for this database. And here, there are 2 delete all orders, and it's because the company decides that they don't need to keep record of the orders made by employees. And so if you go to the, order tab is the table, you see that there's these orders, and you see A. Ross Tin and B. Summers. So once you call these, you see that you have to refresh, but E. Ross Tin and B. Summers are no longer there. Two orders were removed. And now, because so many orders are being assigned, you can go to the package tab, and you can see that all the new orders don't have trucks assigned to them. And so the main idea for this is that these packages need trucks. So here is where you would call all 5. There's 5 update package trucks because there's 5 new packages added. And so when you run these, you're going to want to look back at the package tab, and so nothing necessarily changed, which is very interesting. Not quite sure what happened, but these essentially changed the last row of the truck ID, and so the ones that are null here, there's no valid route. And these essentially changed all the packages that we added to have a valid truck ID because they need to have a route. And so continuing forward, we actually, as it said in the description down here, it's a little confusing, but a new expressway was inaugurated between warehouses and the delivery network, decreasing the distance between endpoints. And so a corresponding leg was added, resulting in a 2-way connection for that pair of warehouses, LAX to DFW. And so basically, we had to create these 2 new legs, which was Seattle to LAX and LAX to DFW. And as you saw here, it was LAX to DFW, overall. And so there's a 2-way connection. And so what we're doing here is, this is realistically, you would more than likely see this actually being realized in either the leg table. Yeah, it would be the leg table, as you see here. And so what you do is you hit add update leg, and you run this, and as you see down here, both compile. And when you look at the leg table, you now see what you're looking for is leg 26 and leg 25. And so if you look down here, it added 2 new legs, Seattle to LAX and LAX to DFW. And so that just added 2 new legs of the system that is an alternate shorter route for trucks to travel. And so as you can see, all of our procedure calls do in fact compile, and I have shown what each procedure call changes in each of the tables of this database system. Thank you very much for tuning into this project.